Ramadan Karim. A happy Ramadan to all the Muslims celebrating Ramadan this year. Time for the April 16th, 2021 Diversity Community Newscast. Hosted by Harriet Tinka and myself, Rayyah Sempala. Sponsored by Rayyah Plumbing and Heating. Here are the headlines for this week. Who was DMX? What lessons can we draw from his life? Discover the tiny but wonderful city of Leduc and its history. Diversity magazine introduces Souvenir of Prominence. After Diversity TV Community Newscast, Diversity TV in the Community brings to you a special panel addressing the growth in COVID-19 cases in Alberta, over 1,000 per day, growth with a big part being new variants. Now the news in detail with Harriet Tinka.
Thank you, Rayyah. Well, let's begin our news after our very exciting tour of the lovely city of Grande Prairie. In a couple of weeks, we will embark on our new tour of southern Alberta in the cities of Calgary, Lethbridge, and Medicine Hat, digging out untold stories, as well as sharing new copies of the special edition of Diversity Magazine Black History Month and Women's Day Special. Want to connect? Please let us know. Segment 1. Every month, Diversity celebrates youths making a difference in partnership with Empowered Me. Listen to Diversity TV host Harriet Tinka, that would be me, speak to an inspiring youth. I spoke to Delaney Youngson is an advocate, songwriter, and dancer. Today's guest is going to share her story on how she went through this whole bullying journey, how she overcame it, and now she's the advocate for the underdogs, as she calls them, because she was an underdog as well.
Yeah, so my name is Delaney. I experienced bullying throughout high school, elementary school. I was bullied by my peers for looking different. And I was bullied for having struggles in school, and I really felt left out from peer groups while I was growing up.
That's definitely something that a lot of young people go through. And one of the challenges is, who do you ask for help? Where do you go? How old were you when the bullying started?
I started getting bullied when I was 8 years old.
8 years old. Wow.
Yeah.
So 8 years old, you'd have been in grade 3.
Yes.
And what exactly was happening? What was the bullying about?
I had a group of young kids call me names because of my look, and basically say you look funny and you don't belong in the school and you look different, and it made me feel really insecure about myself.
So what did you do when you were being bullied? Did you tell anybody?
At first I didn't tell anyone. I kept it to myself. And then a little while later, maybe like a year or two later, I told my brother about it at first. And I tried talking to teachers about it too. And I didn't really get much support from my teachers or the principal at my school who I tried talking to. So my brother was really the person who comforted me and helped me through that. I would suggest for anyone who's being bullied, I think as much as you can, you want to try to stand up for yourself and tell the bullies off. Either say, that makes me uncomfortable, or that makes me feel sad, or I don't like being called those names. It's really hard. Like when I was a kid, I definitely did not have the confidence to tell people who were bigger than me that they were hurting my feelings. But I think if you have to try to find that within yourself to assert yourself and tell those people off a little bit. Want to be the voice for people who are bullied and don't feel like they have that voice. So I want to create a platform where I share those messages on how to cope with negativity and how to cope with bullying. And I want to really speak for those people and really make sure that they are heard, because I never felt heard when I was being bullied.
Segment 2. This is a very interesting one. We just had an interview with her. Let's dig in.
So no one likes being sick. How is it being cared for by a kind, compassionate nurse? The Canadian Home Care Group, Inc. have a team of nurses who provide a range of services to support clients in their home. We invited a representative from the Canadian Home Care Group to tell us more about what they do.
So Canada Home Care Group, like you said, we're a group of family doctors. So GPs, we've got a specialist in our group. We have nurse practitioners, we have other nurses, and we provide non-urgent care in the comfort of people's home settings. We provide this care after hours. So when clinics are closed and people cannot find an appointment with their family doctor, we're able to come in, provide them that care in person. So we do house calls or we do virtual calls. So we provide this care, like I said, in the comfort of people's home settings. Now, these home settings can be private homes or senior facilities or cultural centers, wherever a person calls home. So that's what we do, and we provide it after hours. So we began last year, so we're pretty new. We began last year in August, and we started in Edmonton here. And so we cover, we say Edmonton and the surrounds. So we may be able to go to Leduc, so basically anywhere within Edmonton, just the surroundings of Edmonton. And recently we started up in Calgary because we got lots of people asking us about our work, and they thought it would be a very good initiative to start up in Calgary. So we're just starting off there. We're here in Edmonton and we're just a phone call away. So most people pick up the phone and call us and book an appointment. They'll tell us, I can't get in to see my doctor, or, my doctor's away, or it's the weekend, my doctor is closed. Could you come and see me or my family member or my child, whoever it is? So we're just a phone call away. Some people choose to go through the social media channels. So they may send us a message on Facebook, or they may email us as well. They just need the healthcare card. So to all Albertans, our services are free. So there's no extra cost. Yours is just to pick that phone up or send us an email, have your Alberta health card ready, which will have all your details, your full names, your date of birth, your that number that we require. We will ask you for your address and a contact number, and that's all you need.
Segment 3. We now move on to the story of a great musician, who I'm sure our host, Harriet, is a huge fan of.
Oh, I love this song. My favorite song was I'm Gonna Make You Lose My Mind. Oh, gonna make me lose my mind. Now, the story of the great DMX. Do you know what DMX stands for?
No, Harriet, enlighten us.
It stands for Dark Man X, and that was his stage name. I enjoyed listening to his music growing up, whether I was exercising or whether I felt down in the dumps. His story is one that is wonderful and one that does help us to only appreciate the wonderful men and women who contributed to bring us to this existence and guide and support us in every step along the way in this journey of life, but also highlight our individual challenges that we face, which cannot be overcome by fame, success, or wealth.
Yes, we crave for that tender love and care which we get from birth, not just from our parents, but also from many others supporting us and showering us with tender, endless love and care, including those who join us in the journey as spouses and everyone in between.
Earl Simmons, known by his stage name DMX, was an American rapper, songwriter, and actor. He began rapping in the early 1990s with great songs that some of us can still remember the lyrics even today. He was born on December 18, 1970 in Mount Vernon, New York, USA, and he died on April 9, 2021 in the presence of his family.
Yes, DMX had all the fame and money, but craved for that tender love and care until he exited this human phase, a vacuum that he struggled to fill, as you can't buy a loving mom or dad. Celebrate if you have one on this journey or one in place of the original one, or make use of all those who love and of course appreciate those who care for you, even if they're not your parents.
He was brilliant, inspiring. He writes every song that he sang, a true artist in every sense of the word. He had a conversation with the Lord in every album, and he released and a prayer too, he said.
He told Dr. Phil in 2013 that he had 3 conversations with the devil through his songs to discover who the devil is and to know how to deal with the devil. Oh, well, he had an interaction with the devil at even a younger age when his mom took him to a children's home saying they were going to visit, but she abandoned him there.
That is sad. I can't believe that happened. Since that day, he has been in search of that inner peace and love, which was lacking in his upbringing and pushed him into some challenges that he dealt with until his passing.
That quest for love and inner peace could make someone miserable, and different people deal with that differently. Some resolve to drugs, alcohol, you name it. He supported a lot of homeless kids to fill in that gap when he had growing up. If money could buy a caring mom or dad, DMX could have bought one before he exited this existence. He, however, supported and shared his love with those without.
We all have our challenges in this bodily experience, and each and everyone deal with that differently. The song of the great DMX teaches us that you are not alone in whatever challenges that you face.
A quote from the inspiring artist: "Wrong is wrong, even if everyone is doing it, and right is right, even if no one is doing it." Here at Diversity, we say rest in peace, DMX.
Indeed, rest in peace, DMX. Segment number 4. The new Black History Month / Women's Day Diversity Magazine print edition is now published with full color, glossy, beautiful printed copies to be distributed across Alberta from April 22nd, 2021.
Loaded with inspiring Black History Month stories, as well as exciting stories of 41 women across Alberta, as part of International Women's Day Special 2021.
You can download a free copy on www.diversitymag.ca and click on Digital Magazines on the top menu bar.
Diversity Magazine introduces Souvenir of Prominence. We are proud to partner with Power Play Sports to take our storytelling to a new level. We now can use beautiful designs and fancy colors to capture your Diversity Award experiences and wonderful articles on presentable plaques, trophies, medals, and signs. Interested in adding Diversity Souvenir of Prominence to your collection, trophy cabinet, on your desk or wall? Let's talk. Contact us at 780-709-0965 or www.diversitymag.ca.
Segment number 5, Fashion and Beauty Time on Diversity TV. I love this. Check it out. I love your hair.
I love yours too, Harriet.
Oh, thank you. It didn't take long for Teresa to make us over to the way we look today. This week, we go back to visit Quick Fix Hair and Beauty Supply on 118 Avenue in Edmonton. Quick Fix sells beauty products such as hair extensions and also has a full functioning salon on 10422 118 Avenue here in Edmonton. And absolutely love working with Teresa. She made us look amazing.
Yes. And for more information, please go to www.quickfixit.ca.
Segment number 6. This week, we are celebrating the work of 3 women as part of Women's Day Special. Meet some women who had it on the list of Women's Day Special 2021 in Alberta.
Diversity Magazine's Women's Day Special 2021, Lynn Bui. Lynn Bui is an immigrant mother and professional who wishes she could have 3 heads and 6 hands. One would be dedicated to her family, her Vietnamese community, where she volunteered as a board member of the Calgary Vietnamese Women's Association, and her church as an activity leader for girls aged 8 to 11. One to her work with Action Dignity to Society and other ethno-cultural communities, and also neighborhood residents that are dear as extended family, and another to satisfy her entrepreneurial thirst through her immigration consulting business, Edu Viet Link, Immigration Inc., which she runs early in the morning, evenings, and on her days off as a regulated citizenship and immigration consultant, RCIC.
Oh my goodness, I can see why she wants 3 heads and 6 legs. Oh, she's passionate about helping others. Lynn has transferred her project management skills and experience working to alleviate poverty in rural Vietnam to supporting newcomers and ethno-cultural community engagement and citizen-led actions in the greater Forest Lawn area of Calgary. She's motivated by a passion for women's entrepreneurship, using community economic development as a means to achieve social inclusion and economic participation, equality through her work with various immigrant serving agencies and Action Dignity Society. Lynn has been the supporter of various initiatives, including the Calgary Community Economic Development, now called Thrive, Network, Ethnicity Catering, Global Fest Food Kiosk, Taste of Vietnam, and resident-led initiatives such as resident plaques building and maintaining a network of free food pantries, GFL Parents Support Network, helping families across affordable services and programs, and etc. On and on and on.
Lynn firmly believes that everyone is a unique asset of the community. Collectively, we can move mountains. Believe in collective power and engage in the community is the first step to get one into the community leadership path and make a difference.
What an outstanding entrepreneur. Wow. Impressive, Lynn. Continue doing what you're doing. Very impressive. Now, Diversity Magazine Women's Day Special 2021 continues. A quote from Danica D'Souza. My name is Danica D'Souza from Calgary. I am a single mother of 4 young children, a full-time mortgage broker, and a survivor of multiple sclerosis since 2003. I manifest positivity in everything I do, every word that I speak, and with every interaction that I have.
Danica believes in building relationships with all whom she welcomes into her life, and she believes in doing as much kind works as possible with a kind heart and an open mind. She believes she was put on the earth for a reason, and she truly believes in the power of a positive mind and a positive, outgoing attitude. She states that it has brought her to where she is today and where she is going in the future.
Impressive. Diversity TV Women's Day Special continues. Next, we have Rosbina Natho.
Yes, Rosbina Natu is originally from Uganda, East Africa. So Rosbina arrived in Canada at 16 years old of age as a refugee from Uganda during the Idi Amin/Asian crisis in October 1972, and that is now 49 years ago. Her hobbies include volunteering and continual learning. She has a deep desire to reciprocate kindness and generosity that was shown to her when she first arrived in Canada.
She found her niche to support seniors when she experienced her mother deteriorating from many aging issues. She wished to be a contributing citizen to society by role modeling through volunteering and offering her skills. Diversity Magazine Women's Day Special continues with Tahani Yassin.
Tahani Yassin is a Calgary-based business development manager and community supporter. Tahani is proud of her Middle Eastern roots and strongly believes in inclusivity and the empowerment of all women. Tahani is passionate about uplifting and providing support. She demonstrates that by her leadership skills, guidance, and networking, and she connects with women in her community. She connects them to resources, jobs, and volunteering.
I was going to say, by working together, we create a stronger, more sustainable community. I think that's a big deal. So a very valid statement.
Read more about amazing women for Diversity Women's Day Special at diversitymag.ca.
Now on to our favorite topic, segment 7.
Coronavirus Project Cool Times. Alberta businesses affected by COVID-19 can apply for another payment from the Small and Medium Enterprise Relaunch Grant starting in the second half of April.
The additional payment of $10,000 will be available to organizations operating before February 29, 2020, as well as new businesses that began operations between March 1st, 2020 and March 31st, 2021, as well as hotels, taxis, and ride-sharing services.
The grant offers financial assistance to Alberta businesses cooperatives, and non-profit organizations with fewer than 500 employees that have faced restrictions or closures due to COVID-19 related public health orders and have experienced revenue losses of at least 30%. Applications will remain open until May 31st to allow organizations time to apply and get the support they need. Learn more at alberta.ca.
As well, you can read a list of public health restrictions on the government website www.alberta.ca. Now we go on to segment number 8. What do we have for Diversity TV International News?
We have many things for our audience today. First, we go to the U.S., Canada's neighbor. Kaylin Spadoni, who is a U.S. citizen, was charged with theft in the U.S. because she refused to return $1.2 million mistakenly deposited into her account by Charles Schwab. She moved the funds into another account and then used some of it to purchase a new home and a 2021 Honda Genesis.
Well, time will tell what the conclusion will be. Now in Gabon, that is an interesting. Any fun fact for us from Gabon?
Well, Gabon is a West African country with a lot of history, but one thing that's happening right now is they do have a customary traditional marriage, but it's been recognized. So in Gabon, customary traditional marriages are now legal with a dowry set at a maximum of 1.5 million francs CFA, an equivalent of about 3,000 Canadian dollars.
What do you think? Should we move there?
I guess if they're providing dowries.
I agree. Let's do it. Next flight. An Indian lawyer, Palwinder Kaur, claimed Prince Harry told her he wanted to marry her. Interesting.
Interesting. I thought he was married to Meghan.
That's what I thought. Let's carry on and see. Let's dig in. She filed in court that Prince Harry is arrested for breaking promise of marriage after she was duped into believing he had proposed to her over social media.
I think she was catfished.
I agree. Let's carry on and see what the court said about this.
Well, the court actually rejected the application, stating it was not proven that she had been speaking to Prince Harry. It's important to highlight that many fake profiles exist on social media which cannot be relied on, and people get scammed every day.
Absolutely.
The practice of creating fake profiles in order to deceive victims, often by offering romantic promises, is known as catfishing.
Oh, you said that. Wow. You are correct. That's definitely catfishing. Now on to segment number 9, my favorite.
We're going to the dish of the week, which is
fried chicken. The finished product coming off the kitchen is a unique version of fried chicken that is soft, soupy, tasty, and very presentable. The way of Chef Selassie of Selassie's Grill on 8604 112th Avenue Northwest in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Bon appetit!
We have lots of announcements for our audience this week.
And that's on segment 10.
Yes. Edmonton will host a very important diversity conference this summer on July 6th to 10th at 9 a.m., inviting big names like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. III. For tickets, please go to www.diversityconference.ca.
Next, BCB in action, empowering Black entrepreneurs to thrive. BCB in action, the premier wealth building support for Black businesses and entrepreneurs, stand with Black business community during this challenging time.
BCB in action, economically empowering and sustaining the Black business owners and entrepreneurs of our communities through entrepreneurship and capitalistic activities within Alberta and beyond.
BCB in action provides sources to startups, entrepreneurs, and businesses in Edmonton, Alberta, and Western Canada. As business owners and entrepreneurs are hit by the hardest by the COVID-19, BCB is here to advocate, support, promote, and empower Black businesses.
Please join BCB on April 29th to hear more about these resources for entrepreneurs and businesses. Empower Black entrepreneurs to lead successful business projects program. The aim of this program is to support Black entrepreneurs by providing information, strategies, and resources to help them increase their capacity and viability to innovate their businesses and overcome the impact COVID-19 has had on their businesses. The support services would equip them to drive their businesses forward and identify ways to help their businesses prosper through webinars, forums, workshops, coaching, business skills, development training, peer supports, and more best practices related to entrepreneurship.
For registration, go to their website. How would you improve policing? Good question. How would you? Well, tell EPS your feedback matters. Everyone is welcome to share their ideas and experiences at these community listening sessions. But space is limited, so please register early or leave your comments at epsinput.ca. Some of the upcoming opportunities to participate include Zoom listening session with Chief Dale McPhee. That will happen on Tuesday, April 20, 2021 from 6 to 8:30 p.m. Next, Zoom with Chief Dale McPhee. This will be on Tuesday, May 18, 2021 from 6 to 8:30 p.m. Please register by going onto their website, www.epsinput.ca.
Saturday, May 8th, 2021, 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. 2021 Women of Vision Conference, Mother's Day Get Together by Women of Vision in Calgary. To get tickets, please go to their website, and they cost $16.29. Again, the date is Saturday, May 8th, 2021 from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. This will be an online event and there will be no refunds for the tickets.
Event description. Well, this year they will be looking at breaking the cycle of domestic violence with subtopic title Physical and Sexual Abuse. You'll receive Zoom link a few days to the event on this 9th annual Women of Vision event. Now on to segment 11.
Our Muslim brothers and sisters just entered into a 30 days period of fasting. We invited Dr. Abu Conte to tell us more about the holy month of Ramadan.
Thank you, Dr. Conte, for being here with us, and we appreciate you coming here and talking a little bit about what's going on in the Muslim community. Can you please share the Ramadan Karim that is going on right now?
Thank you, Harriet, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk a little bit about Ramadan. Ramadan Karim, Ramadan Mubarak to all our Muslim Ummah, Muslim family outside there. As you know, starting on the 13th, we started fasting, and we're going to fast for about 30 days. Usually it's about 29, 30, but the forecast is showing that this year, 2021, is going to be about 30 days. And that's one of the 5 pillars of Islam. You know, you have to fast if you are able to, if you are in good health.
Why do you fast? What's the real reason, so that the viewers can understand the reason why you fast for 30 days?
This is a commandment from our Creator, God Almighty, Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. It's clearly stated in the 2nd chapter, the 2nd surah of the glorious Quran, Surah Al-Baqarah. I think it should be Ayah 183, which states, Ya hayu alladhina amanu kutiba alaykum siyam kama kutiba lalladhina min qablikum lahalakum ta'atakum. What is it saying? God is talking to mankind. He say, oh, you who believe, he say, I have prescribed fasting for you as I prescribe it for those before you. Maybe you will believe and you will have the fairness of me, the God Almighty. So we are fasting because it's a commandment from God Almighty. He wants us to fast. He has prescribed it for us. And as believers, we have no option to do it. If there is for any reason our health cannot allow us to do it, there are alternatives planned for us to be able to fill in, but it's a commandment. So that's the reason we fast.
Abu, right, we know that Ramadan has always been a time of testing, and usually, especially here in Canada, we have a longer time for fasting. But now with the added complication of COVID-19, how can you encourage the Muslims going through this time to get through it?
Good question. It is a difficult moment, but when you look at the advantage, is the reward that you get for following the guidelines, for following the commandment of Allah, there is nothing that you can equate it to. So I would encourage each and every one to look at that commandment and do all the level best. In fact, there is no success without hardship. There is no success without challenges. So regardless of pandemic, regardless of challenges, we need to make our level best effort, do our best practice to be able to do it. There are options, there are alternatives, there are basically provisions for us to be able to do it even though pandemic is there. In fact, now that there is pandemic, it means there are limited restrictions, limited distractions, that's what I mean, right? So we should be able to focus more indoors and then avoid the don'ts and then focus on that holy moment, right, of Ramadan in which we do fast.
Thank you, Dr. Conte. And just my last question here. Most people think fasting means you're not eating at all. So can you just let the audience who is listening know when you would be breaking your fast?
Right. I will answer to that question in 2 parts. Fasting does not mean you are not just eating. It goes much, much beyond that. All right. Fasting starts from dawn to dusk. So it depends on where you find yourself. So here in Edmonton, it starts around about 4-ish, 4:15, 4:20, right? Just before a daybreak, you should stop eating and stop doing anything that is forbidden by Ramadan, all right? And then you break the fast just before it gets dark. So around about 8:30, 35 right now, all right? So dawn to dusk, that's the regulation. There are areas, say for the north, where it is actually bright for most of the day. So it becomes very difficult for you to fast for like 23 hours, 22 hours in those places. So it is allowed for you to look at the closest area where it is more or less normal in terms of dawn and dusk. Say, for example, they could look at the Edmonton time and then follow it. There are guidelines that the sheikhs could direct us better to. The second part of my answer to the second part would be some of the things that you're not supposed to do. So it's not just eating, it's not just drinking. You are not even allowed to watch things that are immoral or illegal. You're not even allowed to smoke. You're not even allowed to inject, well, have some injection that's more or less nutritious, right? You're not allowed to engage in gossip. You're not allowed to entertain yourself in a way that is for pleasure, right? So it is not just eating and drinking. There are a number of other things that you need to forbid yourself. So looking like me, looking at ladies, right, that are not properly clad, that are not properly covered, could destroy my fast, right? I have to like guard my eyes, I have to guard my tongue, and I have to check what I do, what I say, where I go, and those other things come into play. So it goes beyond not just eating.
Wow, thank you for sharing. That's a lot of cleansing spiritually, physically, mentally, and all of those things. So thank you so much. Now we have a great idea on what that is all about. So we appreciate you having this dialogue. Thank you so much, Dr. Conte.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching Diversity TV Community Newscast with your host Harriet Tinka and myself, Rayyah Sempala. You can find us on
Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. And we also do have a website. It's www.diversityplus.ca. Now we go to segment 12.
Diversity TV in the community. Diversity TV brings to you our panel on COVID-19 cases in Alberta, which are going by over 1,000 per day, with the big part being new variants. Moderated by Diversity TV hosts, myself, Rayyah Sempala, and Harriet Tinka. Our panelists are going to share how we can bring some awareness on this pandemic. The panelists are Dr. Abu Conte from Edmonton, Dr. Charles Odame Ankara from Calgary,
Coronavirus Project, and what we are doing in the community. So that's such a hot topic today, as it has been since last year. So our questions will really be focused on that. So tell us what you're doing in the community to help the community with this virus that's been invading all of us.
My name is Odame Ankara, and I think I'm not new to this, to your platform. I am currently the president of the Canadian Association of Calgary, a member of on the board of the Alberta Anti-Racism Council. I'm a scientist by training, so in my professional area, I'm a scientist. I develop instruments to measure air quality. My community is very diverse in terms of our culture. We have very unique cultures coming out of Ghana. So we use creative means of sending valuable information, authentic information, word of mouth, because of how people communicate. It will interest you to know that this is very peculiar with Ghana, but people do not have the tendency to read all the message you send. They read the beginning and they think they know the rest. That's what I have seen. Others will read it thoroughly. So to avoid any kind of misinterpretation, what we do also is we try and make calls. We call people. We have the telephone number of people. We call them and we give them authentic information and let them know that this is happening. Please take note. This is happening. Please take note. This is not a hoax. We also work closely with the church pastors, and we share ideas on credible information. So with that, any information that is coming from them or coming from the community leaders, they know that it is true. We have a WhatsApp platform as well, where everyone is able to post information, and it will interest you to know that people will verify and say, yeah, this is true. Let us take note. We use our email platforms, and the association has an email platform. So we send out communications to the community, either pictograms or a short email messaging or anything feasible. And we use our website as well. So these are the platforms that we use, because with this, we're able to capture everyone from the high spectrum of those who are highly, highly, highly educated to those who did not have that opportunity, unfortunately, because it's not everyone who has a good command over the English language, because that is not our language. It's something that we all had to learn. So our local language is using our cultural way of communicating with people, trust, building that trust with the community. So whatever you say, they know that you are not lying, you are speaking the truth.
The onset of COVID-19 is devastating globally, and my community is not an exception. So once we had the problem last year when it just came in, one thing we tried to do was to engage on a collaborative effort. So the executive thought it fit that we cannot handle it all by ourselves. We need to reach out. And our community is blessed with two sets of people, health workers and social workers, right? So we brought these people on board. We tapped out to see government regulations, the do's and the don'ts, the guidelines, try to understand this and then disseminate them out as much as possible. Our major medium of dissemination is our WhatsApp forum, all right? That's one thing that most households will regularly or religiously check out. So we ensure that we give them this information, the regulations, as much as possible. But the good thing here is we try as much as possible to put it in our own local language, because the English language, as Dr. just mentioned, might be a challenge. So translate it into the lingua franca, which is Creole, so that people will understand. But we did not just write, because even when you write, it can be a challenge. We ensure that we verbalize it. We actually had people who will put it in Creole, voice recorded message, concise, and then step-by-step guidelines for our people. And this was something that we sent out periodically. But guess what, ladies? You can tell people the regulations all you want. It can just become a white elephant if they are hungry, if they don't have their resources. So in addition to supplying them the do's and the don'ts, we thought it fit that we should go out and see how we could support them with their needs, right? At least the basic. All right, so we looked out for support systems coming from various levels of government, whether it's provincial, whether it's federal, right? Say, for example, the SAP, those who needed EI, those small business people who needed support, those who are stranded outside Edmonton, the money that was available for them. We ensure that people in our community knew about this, and we had a workforce, a small community that we empowered to be able to help these people virtually, so that they could complete their application. So put food on the table so that the chances of them violating some of these regulations will be minimized.
Both doing so many great things, especially WhatsApp seems to be the common factor between both of you. What else can you be doing that you're not doing to make it even more educational, that education awareness? What else is missing that you wish you could do or could be done?
In every society, you ensure that you don't leave people behind. Yeah, you have to be conscious of that, because the pandemic has thrown a lot of people out of the door, out of the bus, and a few people are on the bus riding. So you need to make sure that you stop and look back and see who has fallen off the roadside and bring them back on board. So we use that principle. As Dr. Conte said, we provide resources through the provincial government. They have provided some resources. We distributed culture appropriate food hampers to individuals in a very respectful way. Our culture, we do not go out begging for food. Our culture, food is a sign of love. We give food. So even if you know that I am hungry, I shouldn't come and beg you food. You should, out of your love, being able to offer that. It is more valuable. It is not the food per se, it is the act of giving food. So most of the programs that they set up, they realized that it wasn't benefiting the Africans, because people were not calling that 1-800 number. An African will never call a 1-800 number asking for food. That it won't happen. So we decided to go through the channels that we know. the trust, the word of mouth. And, you know, I remember delivering food hamper to some people who were affected by COVID, and they cried. You know, it is not the food or the value, but the thought of it, you know, and then we try to let everybody come together, because this COVID has affected every people are suffering from mental health. We organized the medical doctors who have Ghanaian origins but are practicing in Alberta. We brought all of them together and we did a Zoom meeting to educate people. People ask questions in our local languages about the vaccine, because there's a vaccine hesitancy in the community as well. So we realized that no, we should not assume that everybody gets it. So we did that vaccine info session. People asked questions and we followed up, and it was received quite well, because then they become the carriers of good message to other people when the conversations come up. Another thing that I will plead is, right now that the cases are going back up again, you know that our communities have a lot of first-generation immigrants. See, and first-generation immigrants, you have to keep at least 2 jobs to sustain yourself and your family. And the pandemic has even resulted in people being restricted to working from only 1 job, which means that they practically have lost income. So now, and sometimes the environment where they work as well, their risk level is high. So now this person who is not a breadwinner gets infected with the COVID virus, has to isolate. Where do they isolate? This, and their income will also cease coming. So this is where I think we need a little bit of improvement, because most of the benefits that has been set up, the qualifications for it are so strict that it is hard for people to qualify. For instance, if I have 2 jobs and I have been asked to drop 1 and work from only 1 because of COVID, I think it is fair for me to have some level of compensation, so that at least I know that financially I can keep my family going, because both jobs could be part-time. So I want to see an expansion of this program to bring more people in, to help them during this period. I want to see the government also reaching out to the grassroots communities, and they are doing that now, because now we have a network called the Calgary African Collective. And I don't want this to happen only in Calgary. We want this to happen in Edmonton, in Leduc. Go to the grassroots organizations and provide money to these grassroots organizations, because trust me, we know the problem we are facing and we are the best to solve it, not another person.
Colleague Dr. Adami has actually digested quite a bit of the meat for me. I'll just want to, hone in on just 3 other areas. First and foremost, as I mentioned, getting the regulations to people is a very good one, but not providing them with the relevant resources is even more important of a problem. So what we've been doing, as we mentioned, is to get help from various sources. But usually this help come in a form in which you have to give them X or Y, or they provide you with these resources. As a doctor mentioned, our people are not accustomed to that type of system. It's just our nature. All right. And when they accept it, they have a lot of restriction. So a fraction of these will be going to waste. So one way we have been figuring this out is to have that ability to empower the people so that they can make their choice. All right. So what do I mean by that? We've been advocating from our supporters, from our funders, let us have the means of providing support to them, like gift cards. Give them the gift cards. They will go to the African stores. They will make their own choice of what they need, rather than giving them a food hamper. We have 40% of what we put there might not be their choice. So if we have a way, we'll prefer that liberty, that freedom, right, to be able to support our people so that they have the choice to make for themselves. Secondly, Parents, you can give them all the food, you can give them all the financial support. If their children are unhappy, if their children are unstable, if their children are not settled, the family is not settled. So what do I mean here? When the pandemic came in, it impacted on the schooling. So a number of the kids will have to stay home. A number of these kids did not even have the basic gadgets, computer, right? Internet access, they did not have. And you're not talking about going to library to like make use of this facility. So we'll reach out to be able to like get some computers, a few computers, and then hire from within ourselves people who can actually help with online tuitioning. We've restricted these to like 6 core subjects, but there are quite a number of other courses that are being run in schools that we've not been able to cover. So we wish and hope, and we're still looking forward to having more support in which we'll bring more tutors, we'll have more computers and gadgets so that we'll help our kids with online schooling. Helping the kid means help the family, and then we'll make everybody happy. Finally, you can give me all the food, you can make me happy, but I'm sitting here all the time, I grow bigger, my mind is not sound, right? It's still a problem. So one thing that we've been hearing cry loudly coming from our people is the fact that they need to get themselves engaged in fitness exercises, right? Even if we're doing it virtually. This is something we're working towards. We've got the skeletal structure in place, but we just hope and pray that we can do more of this, especially for our seniors. These people are bored, right? We experimented it a few months ago, and it was a game changer. Those people that will keep crying about arthritis, that number of complaint reduced dramatically. Those people will tell you that I'm not sound in mind, the number of complaints reduced dramatically. So fitness, physical exercises, these are things that we look forward to having also for our community, especially so during this period of pandemic when we're having isolation. Over to you again.
Well, thank you, Dr. Abu Conte and Dr. Adame Ankra, for your information and your resources to our audience. We are glad to have doctors like you watching over our communities. So we thank you for being here with Diversity TV, and we hope to hear from you again in the future.